What would you do if a single act of kindness could change your life forever? In the quiet town of Willow Creek, where the days unfolded like the pages of a well-worn book, Emily Harper lived a life of modest routine. At 28, she worked as a barista, her hands always dusted with coffee grounds, her smile a constant for customers at the corner cafe. Her apartment was small, her dreams smaller: pay the rent, save a little, maybe one day afford a car that didn't sputter. But Emily had a heart that saw beyond her own struggles, a heart that noticed the overlooked. One chilly afternoon, as leaves skittered across the pavement, Emily saw an elderly woman sitting alone at a bus stop. Her coat was threadbare, her hands trembling as she clutched a thin scarf. The woman's eyes, though, held a quiet dignity, as if life's hardships hadn't dimmed her spirit. Emily hesitated, her shift just ended, her wallet nearly empty. But something stirred in her. She crossed the street to the diner, bought a warm meal: soup, bread, and a coffee, and brought it to the woman. "I thought you might be hungry," Emily said softly, setting the takeout container beside her. The woman, whose name she learned was Clara, looked up with surprise, then gratitude. They spoke briefly, Clara's voice frail but kind, sharing stories of a life long lived. Emily left feeling lighter, though her own dinner that night would be instant noodles. The next morning, a sharp knock startled Emily from her coffee. She opened her door to a man in a tailored suit, his presence as out of place in her rundown building as a diamond in a coal mine. He introduced himself as Victor Langston, a name she vaguely recognized from news headlines about tech empires and philanthropy. In his hand was a key, glinting under the hallway's flickering light. "Clara was my mother," he said, his voice steady but heavy with emotion. "She passed last night, peacefully, in her sleep. That meal you gave her, it was her last. She told me about you before she went." Emily's breath caught. She stammered, confused, but Victor pressed the key into her hand. "This is for a house," he said. "Fully paid, in your name. It's not charity, it's gratitude. You gave her kindness when the world forgot her." The revelation hit Emily like a wave. A house. Her mind reeled. She tried to refuse, but Victor's eyes, so like Clara's, held a resolve that silenced her protests. He left as quickly as he'd come, and Emily stood frozen, the key warm in her palm. That afternoon, she visited the address Victor had given her. It was a small, charming cottage on the edge of town, with a garden and windows that caught the sunlight. As she wandered through its empty rooms, tears blurred her vision. She'd given so little: a meal, a moment, and yet here she was, holding a future she'd never dared imagine. But the story didn't end there. Days later, while sorting through papers at the cottage, Emily found a letter tucked in a drawer, addressed to her in Clara's shaky handwriting. It revealed a twist she hadn't seen coming. Clara hadn't been alone by chance. She'd chosen to sit at that bus stop, testing the world's heart one last time. Clara wrote of her son's wealth, but also his distance, how she'd longed to see if kindness still existed beyond her privileged bubble. Emily's act had been her proof, her final piece. The letter shifted something in Emily. She didn't just move into the house, she made it a home for others. She opened its doors to those in need, offering meals, warmth, and a place to feel seen. The cottage became a beacon in Willow Creek, a testament to a single moment's ripple effect. Strangers became friends, and Emily, once invisible herself, became a quiet hero. What does kindness cost? For Emily, it was a meal. What it gave her was a legacy. A house, yes, but more than theta purpose. And somewhere, Clara's spirit smiled, knowing she'd been right about the world after all. Yindi.